All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We should be live. I've got a guest on today that shouldn't be a stranger to the channel at all. We've been in several of his protocols. He's come out with a new part of the ecosystem in Bootleggers Run. So I'm super excited to hear about it. I've heard a little bit about it in the chats. I've been seeing some of the graphics and slides and everything, but he's going to break down in detail how exactly the protocol is going to work and how everything's all going to tie together. But super excited about it. I've been pretty vocal about this on my last few videos, like Kirk's projects. Basically, I've ROI'd in like every one, or they're still running. So as far as them being safe, quality projects, a lot of external revenue sources and stuff like that, they're always top tier. So super to have a guy like you in the space, and of course, great to have you on the channel.
Hey, Scott, thanks so much. I really appreciate the kind words.
So Bootleggers Run, give us just the bird's eye view, like the 10,000 feet description of what Bootleggers Run is and how it's associated with Speakeasy. Obviously, they're all kind of under the same theme. The last few of your projects have been going down that road. So kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at here.
Yeah, let me give you a little backstory. I mean, obviously, like you said, it's a related project in that I'm running it and I'm the team lead. It sort of is a different project. It's standalone, but it is still within the same world and ecosystem, I guess you could say. So, but why do something new when we have, like you said, things that are still up and running? We're celebrating, I think we're about 8 months in on the Speakeasy Drinks project. The token itself's been around almost 10 months now, and which is, and DeFi's a lifetime. And we're definitely, starting to see liquidity come down, which isn't, natural. But my gosh, after 8 months, I'm pretty pleased with the way everything has worked out. And But as I have been contemplating this, and for those of you who are involved in my world like you are, Scott, you'll know that I have done some other projects. I created a thing called the Back Room, which was basically a syndicate investment into protocols that were popping up around the space. Some recommended by you, some I found other places or found myself. And then also I've had the other external project called My Eileen, which is based on some AI software that I developed. And a lot of what I learned in My Eileen is coming into this Bootleggers Run. So what is it? Well, I wanted to create something, what I learned a lot about, Scott, over this last year, especially in the Back Room, was just how difficult it is to create these types of syndicates and be successful, mainly because of all the rugs. It's just so difficult, as you know, what you need is time, and they don't afford you any time. I mean, they don't last long, generally speaking, even if they're run properly. But but if it's some sort of there's some sort of nefarious intent in the background, then you're really hosed. And so we suffered some of that in the Back Room, and I just didn't like it. I just didn't like having to be the bearer of bad news for people. And and so I really spent several months late last year thinking about all this and how I might be able to come up with something new that was safer, a place to put your funds for passive income, because that's what we're all about, right? So Bootleggers Run is really a replacement of the Back Room. We've stopped doing the Back Room. The programs that are still running in there and paying are still paying out. That hasn't changed, but we're not introducing any new stuff. So this is really somewhat of a replacement of that. And the idea behind this, Scott, is basically to create a project with a couple of goals. One is sustainability, which has always been sort of a mantra of mine. And, for an ROI DApp, I think we've been pretty sustainable with drinks. So we've achieved that. Now I want to achieve it, and go a little bit further and get out of the ROI game a little bit and turn it into more of a truly passive income play that I think is sustainable long term. So we're doing that in Bootleggers Run through a play to earn NFT based game. And we can get into all the weeds of that, but that's sort of the backstory in terms of why we're doing this and what it's going to be.
Gotcha. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I know you had the back room, and I love the idea of a syndicate and the whole theory behind why you created that. But you're right, it's really tough, and you don't want to be the bearer of bad news when these protocols go south. Sometimes they go south, like you said, there's no nefarious activity. They just, they just run their course, and sometimes they run their course too early. People don't get to ROI, and that's kind of frustrating. And then sometimes you've got the rugs, which is extremely frustrating because they're hard to pick. Sometimes there's trusted people who have been in the space for a couple of years, and they do really well, and then that person disappears or whatever. So anyway, it's a really challenging space to make something last, and you got to have, for it to last any period of time, you have to have some sort of external revenue source and a pretty good community. And like you said, I was just checking back on my details. I put my first 1,000 into Speakeasy drinks on 5/30. So that's a really long time ago in terms of DeFi.
Well, it's funny. I made a post the other day. I was, I'm not doing it anymore in the syndicates, but I still love a good degen play. And I put some funds in that Ocean Waves thing. And, I think it lasted 12 days or something.
Yeah, exactly. 12 days. I know.
I got in early enough to where I actually got my full return, but still, it's so funny, 12 days versus, 8 months. So
yeah, totally. A significant difference. Yeah.
Significant difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. Different plays. I mean, I like all sorts of different stuff. Sometimes I like the degen short-term plays that, aren't going to last that long, like Ocean Waves, it was only going to be so long with those rates. So I don't mind jumping in that stuff early and playing with that. But I do like to have a good amount of my portfolio with the stuff that I know is going to be around for a long time. And I know your protocols always are. Foodtopians, obviously that's our project, same way. But those have external revenue sources, and the rates aren't super crazy. So it's just stuff you can make work over long periods of time.
Right, and this is just another one of those that you can potentially mix into your overall portfolio that you're not going to have to quote unquote worry about. Obviously it's DeFi. I can't make any guarantees, but I think that I have established a level of credibility in the space. People know that I'm not here to take anybody's money. And as we get into what our external revenue sources are for this, I think people will be pretty confident. And so, as far as DeFi goes, I think it's about as low risk as I can come up with.
Well, I like the sound of that. So,
let's dig into it a little bit. I've got a little slide presentation as usual. I don't know if that's up or people can see it. I just see my little icon, but I don't know if that's.
Let me bring it up on the third screen here.
There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so Bootleggers Run. Obviously, it's tying into the same kind of vibe as Speakeasy, and it's funny. I've been talking to people in our chats, and there's a lot of people in our membership that aren't from the United States and don't really know what a bootlegger is, or don't even understand that there was this thing called prohibition in the United States. And so I've been having conversations, teaching people a little bit about the fact that there was a period of time here where you couldn't drink alcohol. And so I'm using this as the sort of metaphor for this game, since it ties in a little bit to the whole Speakeasy drinks thing. And that's kind of how the game is based. So the idea is, just as happened in Prohibition, it created this, demand for alcohol, and of course demand and money, those demands are going to get filled. And so bootleggers came to being, and they would take the illegal alcohol that was made in stills up in the mountains or out in the deserts, and they would deliver it to speakeasies and other bars and various stuff, all under the radar of the law. And so that's what we're kind of using as the metaphor for this game. And so what you're doing when you're playing the game is you're doing a run. So basically you're going to run your booze from one place to another is sort of the gameplay idea. This happens in what we call territories. So there are 50 territories in the world of Bootleggers Run that you see here on the screen. They're color-coded. You can see there's 4 different levels of territories. We'll get into that in a minute, but basically the rules are you run within a territory as a player. You run within a territory, and a run lasts 30 days. So not a calendar month, but 30 days. So and the run is represented by an NFT. So basically, when you mint an NFT, that starts a 30-day clock that represents that run into in the game. So, oh, and by the way, just as a side note, we are going to be, for the run NFTs, we are going to be using the Meta Angel's new NFT marketplace of your team and Unmade Sugar. So that's bullish because, then that protocol will get to see some revenue from the fees from the minting. And so people that are also involved in Meta Angels are going to be able to get advantage of getting some bonuses there. So we're gonna be minting our NFTs over there. So I'm happy about that. So again, like I said, there's 4 levels of territories from level 1 down to level 4. They're all the same. It's just price points of entry, but they all functionally run the same way. So you will mint one of these 4 NFTs, depending on what you want to put in money-wise. And this is the prices for the 4. So it goes to USDT. And so the level 1 is 150 USDT down to 75 for the level 4. Now, you can get as many of these as you like. There are some limits at the beginning that I'll get into in a second. But basically speaking, you can get as many of these as you want, but we put the price points relatively low so that you could get into the game. If you didn't want to get in, you can get in for basically as little as 75 USDT.
Gotcha.
So basically that is your minimum entry into the game is for that. So basically, let's take a look at what are the returns on this. Well, basically, as I said, the runtime is 30 days. And basically the rates are, the level 1 is basically 10% for the month. And then 9.5 for level 2, 9 for level 3, and 8.5 for level 4. Now, the numbers you're seeing here are not the numbers that I'm reading off of. They're a little less. And that is because there's some gameplay involved that can potentially reduce the amount of your reward for that run. So there's some gameplay, and I'll get into that. But so these are averages. Taking that into account, these are the averages that you're getting on a monthly basis, and a daily APR translated into a daily APR there. So, nice. So basically, again, it's modest. It's somewhere between 0.25 and 0.3, something in that range. Daily APR is what you're going to get back on your runs, on your NFTs. But you don't have to do anything. There's no compounding. You literally can mint the NFT and the run clock starts at 30 days. And basically you don't have to do anything else until that 30-day clock ends. Nice. At that point, well, you do have an option. When you mint the NFT, it is set to a status that is basically what we call rollover. So that means that at the end of the 30 days, if you don't change that setting, the NFT will roll over for another 30 days. You'll be airdropped your rewards, but then that same NFT will roll over and start another 30-day clock. If you don't change that setting, and you have 21 days within the 30 to decide. So it starts out as a rollover. But within the first 21 days, if you decide, no, I want my principal back too, you can change it from rollover to cash out. And that will give you your principal back plus your rewards. So your money is never tied up for more than 30 days. If you
decide to have it roll over, do you just pay again for the fee in USDT?
There's no fee. It just keeps earning off of the exact same NFT.
Gotcha. So you're just not getting the principal back. You're just
rolling the principal over, collecting your rewards, rolling it over. So Yeah, and if you decide not to do that and you want your principal back, then that burns the NFT, sends your principal with your rewards back, and if you want to do it again, you're going to have to mint another NFT.
Gotcha. So if you decide, hey, listen, I did a level 4 run, I want to get the cash back. I'm going to move up to level 1. I like this. I'm going to spend the extra money. Yeah, gotcha. Makes sense.
So one of the things that was another important thing that I've learned is that, in the syndicate and all that kind of thing, I was looking at it and going, we have syndicate in the back room currently, the Foodtopian Spark Swap being one that I can think of off the top of my head, that are doing very well, and that are actually in profit now and paying out profits. But it took 6 months to get there. Right. Yeah. So, it's great and everything, but I was like, well, I want something where people can feel they can get out if they want to. I don't know why you would if it's performing, but if you want to, if you need that money, what have you, I'm like, I want people to be able to feel like they're not locking up their money either permanently or for a very long time. Right. Definitely. So this gives you that flexibility to say, hey, at any time, 30 days max, I can get out of this thing and I'm not going to get hurt. And so I think that is worth a lot to know that. Now, again, is that a guarantee? No. But when you see what we're doing with the funds, I think everybody will feel fairly comfortable that the principal itself is not at any extreme risk. So anyway,
I like it. Like I said before, I'll just reiterate this. Like every project that I've got in, has both run for a long time. I've ROI'd in, with the only exception being my Eileen, which is still paying monthly. We just really got started with that one. So
yeah, that's been paying out for 6 months now, but it's been going great. And that is somewhat the template for this, and the fact of how it's earning. And so it's doing very well doing that. And so some of that is playing into this. So let's drill in a little bit more. Now, remember I said you could have multiple ones. So let's say you wanted to put $1,000 into the protocol. Okay, well, you can get multiple NFTs to do that. You would get 6 level 1s, which is 900, and 1 level 3, which is 100. So you can get multiple NFTs to get to the number that you want. And basically, if you run the averages, the average 30-day return on that would be what you see there, 109.98. So, it's right around 10%, because most of those runs are level 6 runs, which the base is 10%. And, so there's some variable in terms of the gameplay, but still it comes out overall about that. So that's just a quick look at one illustration of, again, it's not like super degen rates, but that's solid. And then this little spreadsheet below shows that you could 2x double in basically 9 months and 241 days. So that's, I think that's pretty decent, especially when you're considering, when you take into the safety aspects into play. Definitely. It's a pretty good return. So that's an illustration of that. Let's get into, unless you have any questions, let's take a look at the gameplay. Now, I mentioned before that these numbers I'm showing are averages, and why is there even an average if these are fixed numbers? Because the game also has odds built into it. And so these are the odds. So basically the game works where there's never any loss of principal in the odds. This is all to do with your rewards. So you have a 5% chance on any particular run that you won't get any rewards. You have a 10% chance that you lose half of your rewards. You have a 65% chance that you'll get exactly the going rate of what we've been talking about, the average, and you have another 20% chance of getting a 20% bonus on top of your rewards. So basically an 85% chance of getting at or above what these averages are, and a 15% chance of getting below that. So it just adds a little fun to the gameplay. Overall, if you're getting into this, it's probably not going to affect you very much because of just the way the odds are set up. But it does add a little bit of fun to the game. The way this works is it's a totally random algorithm, and it actually determines the outcome of your run the minute you mint the NFT, but you don't know it until the very end. So when you
Gotcha.
get to the end and you're ready to collect, you click a button on your dashboard, and this little graphic is showing. Then you see what happened to you in the run.
Gotcha. Yeah, it lets you know if your run got busted and you weren't able to get paid out. I mean, just really just similar odds to what really happened probably when you were
and actually the odds are even better because these are calculated per NFT, not per group of NFTs. So in other words, your one NFT is run against these odds. So you, rather than, let's say we have 100 NFTs and 15% of them have to be losers. You see what I'm saying? It's an individual one-off. So even the fact the 15 is not going to happen as much because it's all calculated on one NFT. But at any rate, we're also going to be introducing, as we get the gameplay going, special NFTs that you can get that will block you from the penalties. And
gotcha.
And
so you can bribe the cops. You can buy your way through.
Your first NFT, we're guaranteeing that the first time you do this, no penalties. So your first run will be penalty free, but then after that, it will open up to penalties. But then we're going to be doing things, and that ties into the ecosystem. Like we're going to have one NFT that you can only buy with drinks. And if you buy the NFT with drinks and you put it in your wallet, it'll block you from, the penalties, or it'll give you an extra 5% bonus. Or we have a lot of opportunities here to extend the gameplay, work within, our with our partners, with Foodtopian, and all kinds of things to do fun things that can affect this. And then also I want to say is these returns that you're seeing here, are not locked in stone. If we start doing really well, we will increase them. I'm just trying to be very conservative with what I think we can do, because I want to be able to say, if our treasury starts building up and we're doing well, then we'll increase these returns. Because
making it last is a lot more important than trying to overshoot the returns to make them seem super lucrative. And I'd say if there's one downfall, which is also the upside of all your protocols, why they probably don't get more traction, is you don't advertise these crazy degen rates.
No, I don't, and I don't do the influencer thing where I'm paying them out in everybody's rewards. So I'm really doing this whole thing in general, all these protocols. I really like DeFi, and I like the possibilities that it has for people. I don't make anything on any of these protocols except for what I invest in them. And I just want to be a good actor in the space, and I want people to have fun, and hopefully if they can earn a few bucks along the way, that's great. I
love it. I love that attitude. Hope at some point this stuff that we're doing, because we're real similar on the Foodtopian side. We really don't make anything from the protocols, but I do think that there's a tremendous upside for us as devs and dev teams, just being hands-on and learning about it, because I do think when the next wave comes, we'll be way ahead of folks who are just now seeing that it's a big thing and then they want to get in. We'll at least have got some reps and understand how the contracts work and what to get into and what not to get into. So it's just one of those learning curves that's kind of fun along the way.
Right. And so one of the great things I think about this game that people are going to enjoy is contemplating if you're going to ROI is not a thing. It's really just like, okay, how much am I going to win, basically? That's what the gameplay is focused on, not ROI. So however, with all of that said, there is another level to the game that does have an ROI component to it for those of you who are a little bit more degen-y like me and like you in certain instances. Remember, going all the way back to the beginning of the conversation, I said that you ran these runs in territories. And so basically you have to run in a territory. Now the territories themselves are also NFTs that you can own. We did a pre-sale for the Speakeasy membership first as a special opportunity, and we sold out of our level 1s, but we still have some of the level 2s, 3s, and 4s. And so basically you can own a territory that running. You have one now as well. And basically that allows you to be the boss of that territory. And basically everybody that chooses to run in your territory for their investments, you as the boss get a take. you get a cut of every run that happens in your territory. So this creates an incentive system. It's sort of like a referral, but not really, because it's up to you as the territory boss to decide if you want to go out and shill for people to come and run in your territory. God bless you. You can do that. You can do whatever you want. And I think what I'm excited about to see over time is once we sell out all these 50 territories, there will never be any more. So we're not ever adding any more territories. So once the territories are gone, then the territory bosses might start competing against each other, because they'll be taking some of their rewards and potentially giving out airdrops to people to incentivize them to run in their territory versus somebody else's. But everybody has to run in a territory. So if we get a wave, if I do an AMA and we get a bunch of people that are interested and they come to Bootleggers Run, they're going to have to pick a territory too. So even if they don't know you or weren't referred in, you still will get runners in your territory that are strangers, because they have to pick a territory to run it. So the fewer territories that are sold right now makes that, more likely.
Gotcha. Yeah,
so this is another level to it, and this is an ROI situation in the sense of the cost of the NFT. So because that's a sunk cost. So there's only 3 levels left. So you're talking about between $250 and $350 dollars to get one of these. And so then you need to ROI on that by getting runners and earning back. So that's the only thing that is gamified to ROI. And so basically you see the percentages here. The level 2, you get a 1.75% cut. 1.5 on level 3 and 1.25 on level 4. So you're earning. So here's an illustration of that. For level 1, basically everybody that runs a 30-day run in your territory, you get $3, and it goes all the way down. So calculating this out on the averages, it's basically all of them are about 3.5 to 4 months it takes to ROI the cost of that NFT. So if you believe that this protocol is going to last for a while and get popular, this is the time frame that you're looking at investing, and then you're receiving all this money as profit. And you own that territory for as long as the game runs. And you can, and as we go over time right now, if you look back here, you'll see these concurrent runs. We're limiting the amount of runs that can happen in a territory at any period of time. And the reason we're doing that is to create demand, basically, and get the other territories sold. As we start selling more territories, these concurrent runs will be increased across the board and eventually eliminated altogether. So
that makes sense. So right now, just to be clear, right now, people can only run in the territories that are sold. So if they're just going to get in as a little bit more of a, I don't know, from the spectator, the base level, then they're fine. They can just run in the territories that are already sold. One of those is mine, so please choose mine. I think I've got the evil. But if they want to be more active and have their own territory, then they can purchase one of these. If they want to grab one of these, how do they do that? What's the process for anyone?
I will. I got that. I got a slide about that just coming up. Perfect. So so basically, ultimately, once we take off the concurrent runs, Max, then if you have 200 people that want to run in your territory, you could do pretty well. If you had a level 2 with 200 people in it, that's $400 a month just in, revenue. And so it can get pretty lucrative downstream after you get your ROI done if you've got a lot of people in there. So anyway, that's how that works. And to answer your question, the remaining territory NFTs are now available on NF Trade. I'll get you the link to this. So you can go up and buy them. They're not in USDT because NFT Trade doesn't do that. So I priced them the same in BNB, or as close as I could get to it. So it might be a few dollars more or less depending on the price of BNB. But you can just go up there right now and buy one of these. There's still, I think we've sold about 20 of the 50. So almost half are gone. and all the level 1s are gone. So, but they're still available if that sounds enticing to you to own a territory. Also, you can run in your own territory, and then you're double dipping your profits, because you're getting the boss profit from your own run as well as your own rewards. So you can run as many of yourself in your own territory as you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it adds a little fun. But basically, all you're really doing still with all of this, again, is coming up every 30 days, collecting either your rewards or your principal back in your rewards, which will be airdropped to you. And that's it. You don't have to do it. There's no compounding. There's none of that. You just get in and let it sit and cook for you. So let's see. How are we making the money? Where's the money coming from? Is this a Ponzi thing? No, it isn't. We're making the money the old-fashioned way. We're earning it, and we're earning it through yield farming primarily. We're also working with trusted projects and protocols that would be like Foodtopian, like SparkSwap. Very close projects that I know personally, that we all know personally, that are not going to rug. But even with that said, I have instituted rules for myself putting these funds in, and I'm doing two main things. One, I'm not going to invest in any ROI data, period, with these funds. And nor am I going to get in anything that has a locked liquidity, because I want to make sure that, principals are as safe as they possibly can be. So that's my own self-imposed rules on this.
Okay.
There might be a few exceptions to that with the trusted projects. Like, for instance, one of the things that I have going right now is a couple, I forget which one it is, but it's like, what is it? The pizza NFT on the Pulse side. Technically that's locked, but I'm, earning a ton of W Pulse, out of that. So I might do a little tiny few things like that, but only in trusted projects and not very much of it.
Gotcha.
But no ocean waves or, war.
Short-term,
none of that
stuff.
We're not going to do any of that with this. And that's why I'm trying to keep the returns realistic. And so those are the rules to it. So we have already started doing this. This is a thing that I did with Speakeasy, and I believe in putting my money where my mouth is in terms of and getting a head start. So about a month ago, the first thing I did was I took some of my own personal positions in Foodtopian and in SparkSwap, and I am donating the rewards portion to the treasury. So I've been doing that for about a month. And then with the money that we're generating from these NFT sales of the territories only, that goes 100% into farming as well. And so that gives us a benefit of two things. One, we're already earning rewards, and we will continue to earn rewards on money we don't owe anybody. So, because we don't have to pay that back. That's a sunk cost. If you're going to buy a territory NFT, you're playing the ROI game. So we own those funds, and so that gives us a leg up. We're already earning on what we've taken in, and we'll continue until we sell all 50 of them. So we are building up a war chest to pay out returns as well. So we've already taken some of this money. We've invested it. We have a farming partner, which is Passive Income Engines. That's Chris. He's also very involved in Foodtopian and was involved in Street Vendor Wars. And so we've placed funds with him, and he's farming for us. So we're doing diversity in our farming. He's into other farms that we're not into, and paying us out returns with those funds. And then we've set up our own farming positions now in SparkSwap and in Dojo Swap so far. Dojo Swap thing, I can't believe it's just crushing. So right now, I can't believe the amount of money that we're earning out of that thing. It's amazing. Which was also a referral from Chris. So if he's watching this video, thanks. So basically, we'll increase our positions in these things and add some more positions as we get more revenue in from the sale of the territory NFTs, because that's our free money to play with. Now, of course, when we take in the funds from everybody buying runs, we can also invest that and earn rewards off of that. Of course, we want to be careful because we want to make sure that people, we have the funds on hand to pay back principal if they want to get out. So, but that's the reason that we're saying for the first 21 days out of the 30, you can decide what you want to do, because that gives us a 9-day lead time to project out what funds we're going to need, to pay everybody as these 30-day cycles, switch, so we can leave the maximum amount of money we can in our yield farms
earning,
but pull out what we're going to need to pay. So, and that's, fine. I mean, it's no problem. I mean, this is what we want to do. Really, as I see it, the only, what's the risk? What's the downside? Again, it's not risk of the team. You don't have that to worry about. It's not risk of being in, high return, high risk, high reward ROI dApps. The only real substantial risk is if the tokens in these farms, for some reason, because of the market, just crash. Like, let's say Spark Swap. If Spark falls to 1 cent, well, that's a problem. But that's the market in general. If you're in DeFi, then you're willing to accept that risk. So we can't control that as a protocol. So that would be the only real substantial worry. But on the flip side, we have something that I did this with Speakeasy too. I never see anybody doing this. We're putting money into this. We are putting funds and earning money ahead of time to create a war chest. So we now have, from the first round of this, I think we've got about $6,000 or $7,000 that's now in farms. So we're earning on that money. Plus we have all that principal too, that if we really needed to, we could pull out and pay people back their principals, because we don't owe any of that money to anybody, and it's liquid for us. So I feel really comfortable about all this. I don't have really any hesitations in terms of this. It's just like getting it running and then, seeing where we may need to tweak here and there. And that's pretty much the protocol. I don't know if you have any specific questions, but that's what we're up to.
Yeah, no, I like it just in general. We'll dig into a few comments that I have. I just want to scroll back in the chat and let's just rapid fire use some of the questions that came through in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
I think this is let's see here. I think this was a no, but Mark asked, do we need to hold any other NFTs like we did in Speakeasy?
No.
Don't have to. Perfect.
There's no requirement for that.
And then I believe this kind of get answered too. Is there a max payout per run NFT? And I don't believe there is, right? As long as it goes, it goes.
No. You can continue to roll it over for as long as the protocol's alive. Of course, if you do opt to take a principal, like I said, it burns that NFT, and then you would have to get another one. Or move up, like you were saying in that scenario. You started in level 4 and you want to move up to level 1, then you would burn that NFT and move on up. But as far as max outs, no.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Let's see. I think this is, so the odds remain the same for that NFT for each month. I believe they do, right? Odds basically are the same for every NFT every month, aside from if you've purchased some of those other ancillary ones, which will help, help shield you from any law enforcement for that time frame.
That's correct. I mean, it all works the same. Literally, there's an algorithm, a random algorithm with those odds in it that runs when the NFT is minted and decides, like I said, that minute the NFT is minted, it decides what's going to happen there. And so then at the end, if you choose to roll over, it will rerun those odds again. So you won't have the same result. So in other words, if you got busted in one of them and you ran that NFT again the next month, you would get a fresh set of odds. So it wouldn't be like you would be getting the same busted thing over and over again.
Yeah, makes total sense. Everybody who had trouble picking the time, everyone who thought it was later, it definitely wasn't later. It was actually supposed to be earlier, 30 minutes earlier. I didn't put it on my calendar right, and so luckily Kirk hit me up early this morning and said, "Hey, we still good today?" And I was like, let's push it 30 minutes, and that way we can do it. So everyone's struggling with the time. I don't know what it is about UTC and time over here in the US, but it seems like we always get those off about an hour. So thanks for joining, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it's recorded. You can go back and check it out.
Absolutely. Let's see what other questions we have. Okay, thanks, Crypto Watcher, for posting that. I'll post that too. I'll go in and edit the video right after and put this link in the video, so if people see it, they can just click it in the description and go get their NFTs.
Oh yeah, and remember, this is just for the territory NFT. Yep. If you want to get into that part of the game, that's what that is. We have not launched the protocol yet live for you can just run in a territory. We haven't done, so we're not live yet.
What is the time frame are you thinking to flip this on and go live next week?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm going to announce that on this live. Nobody knows this yet. In consultation with Unmade Sugar, making sure that the NFT marketplace is going to be open. And I know he's got some personal issues with his son and stuff. So I wanted to make sure we were totally comfortable when we announced this. But the launch is on Wednesday, March 6th. So this is when the public launch goes live, meaning where you can start running in territories and earning. So that's the date and time of the public launch, about 10 days from now, I guess it is. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. So we'll be, if we're lucky, we'll already have sold out all the territories. If not, it doesn't matter because, again, it's good for the territory bosses if there are less territories to choose from. So, so that's when it's just a little bit less money for us to invest in the farms is really
exactly
all that
okay.
It is. So
makes perfect sense. So that's perfect for me because I actually leave town right after that. So this will be ideal. And so if someone wants to go heavy in this, they say, okay, I've got $1,000. Really, the idea is just to pick as many level ones as you can and then work your way down to where it averages out. As many of those runs as you have is as much as you're going to collect.
Depending on, if it was me, and well, it is me, of course, I will invest in this myself personally. I already bought myself a level one, but I don't want to nag on the other levels because even though they return a little bit less, we've incentivized. Let me find that slide. Where is it? Nope. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we've incentivized the lower levels. 1 and 2 start out with only 50 concurrent runs in them. But you see on 3 and 4, those numbers go up. So from the beginning, you have more people that can run in the lower levels, and that's just more revenue for you as a boss. Now, what is a concurrent run? I don't think I mentioned this. That's not 50 runners. That's 50 runs. So if you remember in my example here, that's 7 runs right there for that $1,000 because it's 6 level 1 runs and 1 level 3. So it's 50 runs, not runners. So it's not as many as you might think. Like you may be thinking, oh, how would I ever get 50 people this? It's not that. It's 50 runs.
Gotcha.
So it's not as much as you think, and I think we'll hit we'll start to get pressure pretty quickly. So we'll, be able to open up and lift this. This isn't to be penalizing. This is to help the whole protocol grow. So once I start hearing from bosses going, hey, I'm at my max, man. I'm at my max. Yeah. And other people are, oh, okay, well, fine. We'll raise it. We just want to try to create that demand, get the territories all sold out, and then we can, lift it completely. But there's no idea to not do that. So, gotcha. So you can plan ahead if you're going to be a territory boss and say, well, maybe, over time I can get more people into my territories. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, my strategy is going to be, I have a couple of territories, and I have lower ones too. And I am going to then run in my own territory, obviously, and earn that, and then shill my territories to get runners in them. And so I think in doing that, you're maximizing the amount that you can earn, regardless of what level you're running on. So it really, it doesn't really. I mean, there are people that get into the weeds with numbers and probably realize some things that I didn't, like.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? If I run 2 in level 4 instead of 1 in level 1, I make 87 cents more that month.
Yeah.
Or something. And great, good for you.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious about on the game theory is if you can flip to the slide where it talks about the runs levels. Let's see.
Odds or
not that further. It's further later in the presentation.
Oh, okay.
Would be
for bosses. Let's see.
Would be before then. It's this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, the difference between the APRs aren't crazy, like you said. So there is definitely a case for multiple 75s as opposed to, a 150, because your odds, of course, you've got that 85% chance of getting at or greater than whatever the rewards were supposed to be, and that 15% chance of getting busted and not getting anything. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's just a snapshot. Like if you look at level 1, the base earnings is 10%. So on 150, that's $15. So you see that on average, it takes it down 90 cents on average. But average is kind of meaningless to some degree because every NFT is going to be uniquely different in terms of what odds actually occur. So it's a little hard to calculate. I mean, you could potentially get a run, you put in 6 and you end up getting 5 of those 6 get 20% bonuses.
Yeah.
That's totally possible. So it's really hard. I just tried to create an average just to give people a realistic understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think that, you can definitely, that's another thing that I didn't even think about until now. Another reason to go into the smaller levels, level 4, is I can get 2 NFTs for the same 150. So I can get double the NFTs. So that's double my odds. My odds are in my favor. They're 85% that I'm going to get the posted rate or the 20% bonus. Mm-hmm. So that doubles my odds that one of those is going to get me something I want. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know what the mathematics behind all that is. It's not my area of expertise, but
yeah, you'd have to crunch the numbers, but it's just potentially one more game theory, add what areas do you want to run in and what levels do you want to play with, and do you want to spread them out? And it's a super cool game. I like the game theory a lot.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think everybody always wants the biggest thing, and so that's why they all sold out right away. But if you, and there was the fewest of them, but if you think about it, don't sleep on the smaller levels, I guess is what I'm saying. So like I'm ultimately going to buy one of each. I think I've only got a 1 and a 3 right now, so I'm going to buy a 2 and a 4. Personally, but so yeah, and then again, and I think as we grow down the road, it could be really fun, once we get into a situation, hopefully, where the bosses are playing against themselves, and maybe runners are earning a little bit, they're willing to take a little bit of those rewards that they're earning, the bosses, I mean, and kick those back, airdrop those back to runners in their territory. That's up to you. You can create your own little business with this if you want.
Yeah.
So, and it's and it's not taking away from anybody. It's not like referrals generally where it's taking away from anybody. This is all playing with the same pool of money. It's just who's getting the various cuts.
Yeah, I like that at all. I like that. Let's see. What if Meta Angels bikers help the bootleggers transport? Brand explode. Yeah, there's plenty of crossover things here. We've got a few things that we've been thinking about or whatever. But I was actually thinking about that earlier, how we could tie in that portion of it. But all that stuff I think will eventually come to fruition. The nice thing is your protocols last so long that we've got the ability to do that. Think through the game theory, see how everything's running, add an element, add a wrinkle, and same thing. Protection.
The one thing I wanted to not forget to say, Scott, is that The other thing I really like about this is that because of what it is that there's no, I have to be in on day one.
Yeah.
There's none of that. This will run with 5 people in it or 500 people in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, because if we can generate the returns that we need to generate from our farming, which aren't crazy, then we're golden, no matter if we're dealing with $100 or $100,000. It doesn't really matter. It scales. So that's one thing that's really nice, is anybody can get in. If you hear about this a couple weeks from now, you can get in, and it's no different than if you were there on day one. It really is.
I would say the only caveat to that is if you want a faster ROI, if you're going to buy a territory, better to get it early. That way people have to run in your territory. Outside of that, like
I was really just talking about people who are just running.
Exactly. Yeah. Most people that are coming in and running, just normal, just playing the game like normal. You're right. See it in a couple of weeks. Great time to get in. You can always get that principal back, like you said. There's the external revenue source. It's really well set up for those people to be low risk. And if you want to play it a little more risky and have that ROI side of it and buy a territory, then maybe jump in early to do that. But also, it's not the end of the world either, because if you miss that early opportunity, some of those other ones start to look more lucrative, and people are going to start to buy up those additional territories. So there's something there for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's another way to earn revenue. If you have the stomach to put a couple $100 at risk for a couple months, then why wouldn't you? I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but
for sure. It's about the lowest risk thing out there. So I'm perfectly willing to do that. I'll do that with some degen stuff. So I'm definitely do it with this. So I've got my territory, and then I'll definitely.
And the other thing is, we limited the amount when we did the pre-sale of the territory NFTs. We limited the amount that people could have to 3 total, and only 1 of each level type. But there's no restrictions now. So those NFTs that are available on NFTrade, somebody could buy them all if they wanted to. So mix and match, come up with the amount you might want to spend if you're into the idea of being a boss and generating more revenue. The other thing too is our website will probably be up. Well, it'll be up sometime this week. I just don't know what day. Okay. And even though the protocol won't be live yet, you'll be able to create an account. There's a whole dashboard of it, and I'm making a bunch of videos, so they'll all be on the page too. So you'll be able to see. But there's a whole. It's really slick, where you go in and see all your NFTs and where they are in the run and all that kind of stuff. So it's very easy to manage your bag in Bootleggers, and so I will be rolling that out here in the next couple of days.
Love it. Yeah, you shouldn't have said you could buy them all.
That's Chris.
I don't
know if you were in Chris earlier, but I was thanking you publicly for your support as well as your tip on Dojo Swap. So there's more money for me to go collect on that today. I've only been in it 2 days, and
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love good protocols. They just make they give you hope that DeFi is going to come around and be a
they're insidious though, right? Because they keep you in the game.
Totally.
You get these bad tastes in your mouth in these protocols, and then you finally get one that does well, and you're like, this is my little hit.
Exactly. Sometimes I feel it's like the game of golf. Honestly, to me, it's like I feel like Crash Forever, and then you have a good hit. You're like, I can do it. I have the ability to win here. Yep, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Chris is gonna buy those up. We never should have put that out in the public space, but
sorry.
You're good. See, my camera just keeps doing its own thing. Apparently, it's off now. So,
I need to probably tell AJ that too, because when I told him about this project, he goes, how many can I have? And I said 3. And so now I need to get back to him and go, now you can have as many as you want.
Yeah, many as you want now. Just
that guy could definitely buy them all.
So Nick has a question here. Just what kind of marketing do you have planned going forward? You got a string of AMAs you're going to put together? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, the reality of it is this is another reason why I set it up the way I did, meaning I did limit the amount of territories you could buy at first, because the idea is I wanted to have as many different territory bosses. Are you still with me? I see some sort of
Yeah, I'm here. I don't
okay.
know what my camera's doing.
Okay. I wanted to have as many territory bosses as possible because each one of those people is going to go out and market because they want people to run in their territories, right? So they're going to talk about it and they're going to, market for us and say, hey, come run. So there's all of that. So if we have 20 different bosses representing the 50 different territories, that's a lot of people out there talking about the protocol. And that's the kind of thing that is worth more than an AMA for sure. So I'm going to be doing some more AMAs. I have a couple coming up this week. I'm not doing a ton because just frankly, I just don't think the ones that cost money are worth it. So I don't really have a lot of marketing plans right now. I'm mostly concerned with getting the protocol up and running. And because it's not so critical, the running part, the player part, like we talked about, it's not so critical that you're in on day one. I don't feel a lot of pressure to like blow it up,
Yeah, marketing wise, normally when you're launching a protocol, getting that TVL spiked is super important. So all that pre-marketing and paid marketing, all that stuff matters. In this case, since it doesn't really, it's probably more worth your time to really just get a good handful of folks on that are invested in. Really, you just go back to the well, all the people that know you're a trusted guy. And
I want to give everybody that is in our world the opportunity to get these territories. And then everybody else, once I get to that, then when I'm talking about the protocol or whatever, I'm just talking about running. So anyway, so that's kind of the plan. It's not really a plan, but it's just a very conservative approach. And but I will be doing some AMAs and things like that. And one of the AMAs I'm going to be doing is with AJ and the SparkSwap EMP people. So that's a huge audience. That's motivated to be involved in anything AJ's involved in, and he's already a territory boss for this. So that's going to be a huge well of people to take a look at the protocol.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Very cool. Yeah, those are having just a good handful of people, obviously that you're in connection with, that have gotten your stuff and that have decent sized audiences. Like you said, once the thing goes live, then those folks are just making videos and throwing up Telegram posts, and people are getting in to look to make some fairly easy, low risk money, which is really a win in this space.
Yeah, that's what this is, right? It's about as passive as it gets. I mean, once every 30 days or once every 21 days, depending, you just got to come up and click one button, and and the money's delivered to you. You don't even have to claim it.
What happens if you don't choose to end the run? Does it default to just continue?
Yes, the status when you mint it is rollover.
Gotcha.
So that's
you have
the
to
status.
change it. Gotcha.
And then you can change it on that dashboard that I was talking about. And so it starts in the rollover status. So you have 21 days to come up and log into your dashboard and click and change it from rollover to cash out. And as long as you do that within 21 days in the run, when it ends, it'll burn the NFT and your airdrop will be your principal and your rewards. Otherwise, it'll start over again automatically. And then you'll have to wait another 30 days if you want to get it out.
Yeah, makes total sense. Love it. What's Chris have to say here? Love the external revenue for the project using yield farms. That really is the way to go. If you can figure out how to leverage yield farms and run a protocol that has cool game theory, and you're basically just using it as an investment pool, and it keeps people engaged. People get to have fun with the DeFi space. Plus, it's got that nice external revenue source. And I mean, like you said, you're not really making anything on this, but even the devs that are making a smaller amount on their projects and aren't too greedy with it, it's really awesome because those things can run for a really long time, and people start to enjoy DeFi again.
Yeah, and that's another thing I didn't mention. I haven't finished the white paper, although I am working on it, and it will be there by the time we launch. But in addition to, obviously the runners themselves get the lion's share of the rewards, and then the bosses get the next level. But there are two other levels, very small percentages. One is just the treasury, so that will help us to build up our treasury. as well. So it's another revenue stream, if you will,
Yep.
besides the external stuff. So the treasury gets a very tiny, small cut. And then there's an even smaller cut that is like team/marketing. But that's like, it's like 75 cents or something on a run. But, you know, it'll add up over time. You know, that will give us a little bit of money if we do want to do a special AMA that costs money, or, you know, something. We'll have a little bit of funds on hand for that as we grow. So so I'm excited about that too.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I like the protocol in general, and I always like your, I don't know, your viewpoint on DeFi. It's super helpful. I'm really excited to see if we can tie this into Meta Angels and everything that we've got going, because it's always fun to cross pollinate and collab. We've done that for, you know, many months now, better part of a year probably, on stuff we've been doing. So we always appreciate your support on the stuff we're working on, and vice versa. Hopefully you feel supported by my team and everybody. But yeah, super
yeah,
cool.
man. I mean, you know, it's the group of people that we're working with. I enjoy doing it, and it's fun to help support each other's protocols. That's the way we get it done. And like, I'm excited to roll out other stuff. Like I said, you know, drinks-based NFTs that get you bonuses or whatever. That's good for the Speakeasy protocol. And, you know, we're gonna, like I said, we're already gonna be doing the NFTs through your marketplace, which gives some rewards to the people that own those Meta Angels NFTs that are related to the NFT marketplace. And so that's a benefit. So as much as we can do of that kind of thing, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, I want to do it, and you know, let's rise all the boats, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Love it. Well, is there any, I think we're done with questions in the chat. We're at an hour. Anything you want to end on? Anything specific? I'll make sure to change that link in the description of the video as soon as it goes live.
Yeah, just you know, if you want to, there's a separate Telegram for this. I mean, there's, you know, obviously I'm still in the Speakeasy one a lot, but I'm trying to keep the things separate just so it's not confusing for new people. So there is a new Telegram. If you want to join that, that would be great. And then you would get, you know, make sure you get all the updates on when the website's launching, and, you know, other details about things coming. I usually, you know, obviously copy it over to Speakeasy too, but it would be good to get those numbers up on that Telegram for new people that are coming in. So if you want to do that, that would be great. And you know, I'm just really looking forward to rolling it out and working with everybody, and hopefully everybody likes the results and appreciates you know, what we're trying to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my friend. Well, thanks again for jumping on the channel and going through this. Looking forward to next week. So the 6th, so about a week from now, be able to jump in, actually get into the protocol, play around a little bit, and purchase some runs and get everything cooking. So I'm excited for that. I will probably, just for the people that are watching right now, I will probably make a launch video at that time and just get in, and we'll click through it live and just see how things go. So probably get that done. That way it's a nice tutorial once over.
Yeah. And I didn't have time to look up what your territory name is, but
I think it's Eagle. I think it's that Eagle.
I think it might be Eagle. I think that's right. So yeah, I think it is. So anyway, you'll see when you see the videos that I'm doing that show how to use the dashboard. But basically what you do is you will go over to the NFT marketplace, Meta Angels, buy the run NFT that you want, and then basically you come back over to your dashboard on Bootleggers Run, and you're basically staking it to a specific territory. So there's like a pull down list of all the territories that are available currently in that level. And so you would just select Eagle and then hit stake, and then it stakes it to that territory. And so it will only ever run in that territory at that point, unless you decide to cash out, and then it'll burn.
And then, okay, gotcha. Very cool. Well, I'm excited for that. I'll make a tutorial video when this thing goes live, but I'll
Cool.
also throw some stuff in the chat in my group and try to see if we can get some of these sold out and get these territories rocking. Just it'll be exciting to see where this protocol goes, because like you said, it doesn't matter if you get it on day one. So there's a lot of options to get in as you see it being successful, and low risk and fun reward.
And the math works no matter what size we are. So if we only have 25, 50 people in it at first, that's fine. I mean, it's still the same. We're still earning the same percentages.
Exactly.
So
yep, makes sense. Awesome. Well, Kirk, thank you always for joining the channel and creating good protocols, being a trusted name in the space and a friend to us. So appreciate you jumping on with me and talking through the protocol.
Totally. Likewise. Thanks for giving me the opportunity and for doing what you do on your side with protocols and information. It's really important, and that people have a place that they can get info they can rely on.
Absolutely. Well, sounds good, guys. We will end it there. Just a little over an hour, so we can make it, people will watch it and get too long, and sometimes people don't.
Yeah.
Look forward to my video next week where I get in live and break it down. And sometime this week, the website will be up so you can get in there and poke around. But thank you guys for joining the channel, and happy investing.
Thanks.